All right. We're going to go ahead and call the committee to order. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Brattin.
Here.
Hudson.
Here.
Gregory. Henderson.
Here.
Nurnberg.
Here.
Schroer.
Here.
Weber.
All right. Quorum being established, I make a motion that we move into executive session. I have a second. We are in executive session. I just wanted to try to, with spring break, it'd be kind of nice to have a little bit of a quicker committee hearing, so we're just going to exec bills today, and that's it. So I make a motion that we take up Senate Bill 1617. I have a second. I move that Senate Bill 1617 do pass. Okay, I have a second discussion on this. This is the Accountability for Low Earning Outcome Degrees for Higher Education Act is what it was. It was a bill that I presented that utilizes the new federal model to weigh how much they make over a 3-year period. If it's less than like a high school diploma equivalency, has to do with the funding from the state. Not that it prohibits these universities from offering those degree programs and that you could pay for it out of your own pocket. So that's what the bill was, if we remember. Just wanted to give you a refresher course on it. Any discussion? Okay, see none. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Brattin.
Aye.
Hudson.
Aye.
Gregory. Henderson. Nurnberg.
No.
Schroer. Weber.
By your vote of 5-1, the motion passes. All right, I move that we bring up Senate Bill 1370. Second. I have a second. I move that we adopt the Senate committee substitute. It was distributed. I apologize for the late distribution of that, and I can explain it. But can I get a second on that? I have a second. Okay, so the substitute, let me go over it, make sure I get to it. So just in the substitute is just clarifying language that the program will only receive funding after the full allotment of the funds from the state are allocated to the school before any, that way there's no detriment to local funding of the school district. Also, that it does not, with these adult high schools, that does not affect the APR scores of the actual high school, that this is more of a secondary type program. And there was also a cap that was in this. There was, I think, a couple versions that had one, a very small cap that really would have basically made this bill where you couldn't really do anything of a $4 million cap, statewide anyway. So this removes that cap. We don't foresee it being a massive hit or anything like that, but just wanted to make sure that if we can utilize this program that we're able to. And then there was also a sunset also, and there were a couple versions, and it was honestly, we know this to be going to be a successful program. So I think it's something that just needs to happen without pulling the rug out from underneath, as we know with sunsets. So that's what the sub does of the underlying bill. Happy to answer any questions. Proceed.
Mr. Chair, do you have a new fiscal note yet for this?
I don't believe the fiscal notes came out.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm just looking over because obviously those were the concerns, I think, looking at the original bill. So hopefully we can get those numbers to really dive into it a little bit. But I think you addressed some probably the biggest concerns.
Yeah, and I'm happy to work with the committee on the floor of once the fiscal note comes out and we're able to see, what the new sub, what it would look like
Okay.
of working with everybody.
Okay. Well, I'll be, I guess, a soft no today, hoping
Okay.
to see those numbers in the fiscal note and then see if we can get there.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Soft no. I like that. Soft no. All right. Seeing none, I make a motion that we adopt the substitute. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. I move that Senate Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 1370 do pass.
Second.
We get a second. Any further discussion? See none. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Brattin.
Aye.
Hudson.
Aye.
Gregory. Henderson. Nurnberg. Schroer. Weber.
By your vote of 5-2, the motion passes. All right, I make a motion that we bring up Senate Bill 1442. Have a second. I move that we adopt the Senate Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 1442. Second. So I'll turn this over to the Vice Chair to explain, but I think this is the same substitute that you presented the bill on, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, there are no changes from the sub that was distributed at the hearing or before the hearing, actually, I think. So this sub is what we discussed in committee.
Okay. All right. Any further questions or concerns or comments? Okay. Seeing none, I make a motion that we adopt the substitute. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The committee substitute is adopted. I move that Senate Committee Substitute for Senate Bill 1442 be voted do pass. Have a second. Any discussion? Senator, proceed.
I'm going to probably support it today. I still have some concerns about if you hold kids back more than once, and I know you put some exemptions in there. Was it a good cause exemption? Yeah, is in the bill. I just have some concerns with a blanket policy that holds kids back that could have some unintended consequences in the future. I just hope it had to be used correctly, because I don't want an example. I don't want a 16-year-old boy driving to middle school, and I don't want a 20-year-old boy in high school. He's probably not going to graduate if he's 20, and he's in there with 14-year-old young ladies in a high school. Social things plus success for them. So.
Thank you. Proceed.
Yep, and I actually had some conversations already too, and I think we can get there with this bill as well, but those were some of the concerns that I had in terms of the retaining students. And I just want to, for the record, clarify that the soft no comes from the vice chair. So again, a soft no on this one.
First of all, thank you, Senator Nurnberg. I appreciate the credit for soft no. I would say that in the sub, we're not allowing kids to be held back more than once, so that may address some concerns here. Appreciate the committee's time and effort in working on this legislation, and happy to continue to have conversations as we go forward.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. Seeing none. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Brattin.
Aye.
Hudson. Aye. Gregory. Aye. Henderson. Aye. Nurnberg. Schroer. Weber.
All right. By your vote of 5-2, the motion passes. I make a motion that we take up Senate Bill 1051. Have a second. All right. I move that Senate Bill. Okay, this one doesn't have a sub on it, so I make a motion that we move Senate Bill 1051 do pass. Have a second. All right, discussion. So this is what we heard last week. This was Senator Trent's anti-Semitism bill. It doesn't prohibit the free speech or having discussions. It's more so of potential physical altercations and blocking or things of that nature. So that's what this. I know everybody had a different committee, so I was like the sole writer here on for the actual hearing last week. But happy to answer any questions or any discussion. Proceed.
Sure. Just this bill actually will be, I think, fairly controversial on the floor. I've talked to Senator Trent and proposed some solutions I think would make it almost unanimous. If we get to the floor, I'm going to try to work on that. I think there's some very concrete things I think that can make the bill better, but I'm going to be a no today in committee. Hope on the floor we can get there to, because I think it's an important issue, and I think that there's like some real easy common ground we can find. So I'm going to keep working with them to try to do that, but I just wanted to say that before I vote no today.
Yeah, my intent of moving this bill forward isn't to stifle free speech in any way, shape, or form, and I definitely, but there is that line that I want to make sure that I think we need to definitely draw that line. So look forward to working with you. Any further questions, comments? Seeing none. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Brattin.
Aye.
Hudson. Gregory. Henderson. Nurnberg. Schroer. Weber.
By your vote of 5 ayes, 1 present, and 1 no, the motion passes. I believe that is all we have. I make a motion that we move out of executive session. We are adjourned.